right, check 1, 2. I do this every time, but this time I really don't know if you're going to be able to hear me. So let me check on Discord. I didn't pick up mail today. I figured there's not going to be very much anyway, and I also got distracted, so that's okay though. We're going to play with the kittens for a couple minutes, and I'll catch you up on whatever might be news. That is again assuming that you can hear me. Let me check. That's not going to tell me if you can hear me. Let's see here. I think I picked the wrong room to do this in. All right, good. Sounds good. Okay, well, the mic might just cut out at any minute. I noticed that the receiver didn't charge, and so it's got a low battery signal on it, and it says safety, which is I've never seen. I have no idea what safety means on it. But it looks like it's working right now. It sounds like it's working right now. So if it suddenly spontaneously stops, then it is what it is. DJ bought pads for these rugs so they don't have to be so wrinkly, but this one didn't get a pad under it yet. And if I play with these kids with the toy, they're just gonna, well, they're gonna get it everywhere, but that could be fun. We'll give it a try. Let's see. So I said that I would at least sit here and play with the kitties and talk to you about news, which is exactly what we're gonna do. And there's not a whole lot of news. As you know, the boys all, ooh, that was a big jump, wow. You know, the boys all went for their neuters this week, so all 3 of the boys that are here are now neutered. However, we do know that, you know, of course, that's not necessarily immediately effective. It reduces your risk quite a bit right off the bat, but there's still a chance. Yeah, I'm saying there's still a chance. So we have to be careful. We're not just going to let them hang out with the girls unobserved. And of course, you know, especially if any of the girls are in heat. And you know how cats are. They don't generally, you know, get up to that kind of mischief unless the girls are in heat. So as long as they're not, we're not too worried. But again, we're not going to let them do it without being observed, you know, without us keeping an eye on them and making sure that there's no hanky-panky going on. Which right now it seems like it's okay. Cloak is the only one that I think right now would be an issue, and she is, well, she is actually with her boy, but I don't think that's going to happen. I haven't seen any sign that that's going to be an issue. So that's that as far as it goes. Oh man, I landed right on Maggie. That's the only real news. Now the girls don't go for their spays until the 12th. I think it's the 10th, the 12th, and the 18th. They're in 3 groups. I think I'd said previously that it was just those 2 dates, but there's actually a 3rd date. The girls are in 3 groups. And I don't remember who's on which day, but I do remember, of course, Cloak is in the very first group because she's been going into heat frequently, and she's very vocal about it, like super loud. She may just be the loudest cat that we've ever had here when it's sort of that situation. So I'm excited to get her, you know, taken care of, but that's still going to be a while. You know, that's really all the big news. Now, I don't remember where I left you guys on our house situation and moving to Pennsylvania last week. I've lost all track of time and what has happened and when. But I can tell you that it's a done deal now. We got everything sort of sorted out. The guy that's selling the place, the homeowner right now, turns out to be a really nice person, and had actually expressed how sorry he was that it was so much sort of difficulty for us navigating that whole situation with the bank. He said he felt really bad for us, and I thought that was just a really sweet thing. He didn't have to say that, and he sort of made some nice concessions to us as a result. Oh, hi. Okay, you don't just jump on me either. You gotta literally look before you leap, kiddo. I think that's the first time I've ever had a cat jump for a toy and land on me. This one is Parka, by the way. She keeps losing her collar, and I haven't found it yet. If Parka and Cardigan both lose their collar, I'm going to be in trouble because I really don't know how to tell them apart anymore. I used to go by the fact that Cardigan was so much more shy than Parka. I would be able to tell them apart by their personalities if they ever both lost their collar. But that's not the case anymore. They're both really friendly, which is great. And you love to see that kind of progress. I love to see that kind of progress. All these kittens have made incredible progress from being just completely shy, well, with the exception of little Blazer there. All of them were just super shy. And I should mention the exception of the mom cat, Cape. Cape has always been really friendly, just a perfect people cat. And it seems to get along fine with all the other cats too. I think I've seen Maggie go after her a couple times, but that's not her fault. That's Maggie's situation. And Noodle is in the same boat. Noodle is obviously just a super friendly people kitty. But the rest of them, all the rest of them, have been some degree of extremely shy and nervous around people to start with. And I think most, if not all of them, are really showing a huge change in personality for the better. Just fantastic. All three of these Cape's kids, of course, have been completely, I would say, completely reformed. They still will tend to run away if I'm going to try to like pick them up or something, but they're not any worse than Eddie. In fact, they're probably better than Eddie as far as that goes. So not a big deal. Then when it comes to Cloak's kids and Cloak herself, of course, Cloak has been, really, really difficult in that regard. She's a nice cat. She obviously likes people. I know I've said this before. You know, I can't imagine her being like a angry cat. I shouldn't say angry. I don't think they get angry as such, but one that would be sort of, lash out at you, that sort of a thing. She just wants to sort of run away all the time. And you can even tell there's times when she really wants to be petted and be around a person. She follows me around. She always kind of wants to be, see where I'm at and what's going on. But she just can't handle being touched, like at all. And it's tough again, I work on her. You've seen me pet her. You've seen, especially when she's eating treats, she'll put up with being petted. But it's still really hard for her, you can tell, even when she really, really wants it. So that's something that's going to take whoever adopts her some extra work, I think. Probably a lot of important work, too. We've done a little bit, but I should focus on it a bit more for the sake of the adopter, because right now, she's easy to manage if you are clever about it and you know, sort of how to manipulate her. But she does need to be specially managed in a way that I've never had a cat have to be managed before, because, again, you can't pick her up. It's a real proposition if you need to pick her up, even if you just want to move her from here to there. You just forget about it. It's not even worth the trouble of trying to get her to be picked up. So to get her, for instance, to go to her room when I want to put her away, I can't pick her up and carry her there. It's never going to happen. But she's very easy to herd in the right direction. I just close the doors to the other rooms if she seems like she's going to run into those, and then you just walk up to her and she's going to run the other way. It's like, I don't know if you ever caught crayfish or something. Maybe call them crawdads, depends on where you're at. They're like little tiny lobster shrimp things. They're about as long as a finger, really. They live in freshwater streams around here. My brother and I used to go catch them when we were kids. And the trick to catching them, at least, if you're going to just catch them sort of one at a time like you do as kids, not put out a trap or something, is you just sort of hold one hand or a cup or whatever you want to catch them in behind them, and then you just let them see you in front, and they swoop. They got this zoom backwards thing where they just zoom backwards. They'll go right into whatever you're trying to catch them with. So she's the same way as a crayfish or a crawdad. You just got to kind of walk up on her, and she's going to go the other way. So it's really easy to get her to go into her room too, especially because her room is one of her safe places. So she'll kind of prefer to go in there when the door is open and she thinks you want her to go that way. Plus, she is extremely easy to manipulate with treats. Like the dry food, she will come for and run up and go wherever you want if there's treats on offer. So that's another easy way to get her to go places. But I've never had a cat around that I knew I wasn't going to be able to catch her and pick her up. So it's a little bit different that way. And I think if you worked on her really hard, you know, if you really kept at it, you could definitely get her to be a cat that could be picked up. I think she could even be a cat that enjoyed being petted over time. It's going to take a long time to get her right with that. And I'm sure that once she gets there, it's going to feel really rewarding. I know she can get there because she's friendly and because she wants to be petted. You know, you can tell she really wants it. She's just too afraid. So I know she's going to get there eventually. It's just going to be hard for her. She does get along really well with her kids. She gets along fine with other cats. I've never seen her have a conflict with another cat. Not even Maggie wants to bother her. She's just, you know, she doesn't start anything. She just, real easy that way. Although I think it would be best if she gets adopted with her little boy and her little girl, who are also, I would say, on the shy end of things right now. Tutu is a little more outgoing and a little bit more adventurous, but her little boy, Romper, is, I would say, almost as bad as she is in a way. Like, you can tell that he's got that same sort of tendency to want to run away, to not be picked up, and not to be petted a lot. And now he'll put up with it a lot better than she will, and I think it's important to keep up on that so that he doesn't end up sort of, you know, more in her situation. But he is a little bit trickier. You know, he's not like these kids that are just all good with it now. He still needs some work. I would also say that Smock is that way and still needs some work. You know, you can pick her up and you gotta, she doesn't mind sort of being picked up. She'll put up with it. We've had a lot of cats over the years, especially boys. I think there's the boys that are like this, where you can pick them up and pet them, and they'll let you do it. They'll let you pet them for as long as you want, but you can just tell they are waiting for their chance to get away. And the minute you stop petting them, they're out. You know, and Smock is one of those where she will let you pick her up and let you pet her, but she's just waiting for her opportunity to run away. So she's also like really good at hiding, but she's a lot of fun too. She likes to play. She'll come out for treats. It's just it can be difficult to get her when you want to pick her up because she also will definitely give you a chase, a run, I guess I should say. You have to chase, but she's easy to sort of get cornered and then pick her up and do whatever. But yeah, I would say Smock and Romper are the ones that need the most work among the kittens, and then Cloak, of course, is on a whole other level. And then everybody else is pretty easy going these days, and it's going to change for everybody. They've all made good progress. You know, Tutu, and especially Tutu, shows like a world of change from where she was. Jumper is a big difference from where she was when she came in. She's just a lot of fun and hangs out, and yeah, you know, she might give you a little bit of a chase, but like Eddie does, not like, you know, not like Cloak. So, and Jumper seems to really enjoy being petted too, and even held. So that's good for her. And then there's this boy Blazer. He's just on his own. He's the polar opposite on this spectrum. He's like, you know, Cloak is all the way out there on one end by herself, and he's all the way out on the other end by himself. He loves to be with his people. He loves to be petted. He'll still nurse on, if you're wearing something, especially he likes polar, not polar fleece, what do they call it? Sherpa, like that Sherpa material, kind of like this. It's not exactly like this. Usually we find them on the blankets, like on the back side of the marshmallow blankets and stuff. If you're sitting around with some of that, he will come and he'll just nurse on it all day long. It's really cute. He also does like this jacket. He'll nurse on this very frequently. So he's really sweet that way. He's just real easy all the way around. So, yeah, I mean, that's the update on the personalities, and I think that's important because they all do need to find their adopters, and now that they're starting to get fixed and we got those dates lined up, it's time to do it. Especially with us starting to plan our move and stuff. This is certainly going to be the last class that we have here in Connecticut, and it would sure be nice if we got them all adopted before we leave, which we don't have a date for yet, by the way. I have no idea when the move is going to happen. I do know that we are purchasing the house on the 13th, Friday the 13th, a nice lucky day. So I know that's when we're going to actually, take possession of the house, but we're certainly not going to be moving on that day. And so far, we don't have the move scheduled, so it's hard to say when it would happen. But I would like to see all these kids actually adopted before we leave. The reason being that the alternative to that, if the date comes and they still aren't all adopted, we'll have to put them with another foster. And, not only are fosters always hard to come by, they could be doing something more important than watching over the kittens that we had. But you also you hate to see them sort of go to anyone else that way. I'd like them to find their forever home and not have to settle into an in-between situation, But if it comes to that, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm sure that Dawes can find a way to work it out for us if we have to. Hopefully we don't. The ringworm is long gone. I'm sure you guys all were aware of that, so that's not a concern anymore. And I've sterilized everything in the house since then, so I feel like even the stuff is pretty clear. I'm working on bringing the rugs back in. Those do need still sterilization. There's one that's been rolled up in the other room because I already deep cleaned it with Virkon. I put Virkon in the carpet steamer and got it through all the way through the rug, and then cleaned it out like that. And then I let it dry out and I rolled it up and I brought it up here, but my intent before I actually put it on the floor is to give it another wash with probably just a regular sort of carpet detergent. So that's why it's not laid out, why it's still rolled up in the corner. That and because it makes a fun toy for the kittens to sort of climb up and down. And I've got a second one that's had the Virkon treatment that's in the basement that also is going to get a second wash when it comes up, and that we'll just keep going until we've got all the rugs back. Everything else has, I think, already been cleaned. So, yeah, that's our ongoing situation, basically. That's all of it. I think that catches you guys up on all the news, including the house hunt. Don't forget that KACon is coming right up. I'm really excited about it. I just saw the scooters sort of soliciting for swag for the bags that they put together every year now. KACon's one of those things that just every year it gets a little bit better. They always want to, it seems like they always want to do a little bit more than the year before, and they always seem to pull it off one way or another, and I think it's fantastic. Last year was amazing for me. There were some real special surprises there. And, this year, I don't always expect them to top it. In fact, I know that travel this year has been a big concern for a lot of people. So I personally expect it to be maybe a little bit smaller this year. But I don't know if that's the case or not. I could be completely wrong. I always kind of expect it to be smaller. I can never believe how many people show up. But it's always a good time, and I always try to convince myself, it's really not about Kitten Academy as much as it's about, people having their friends that they talk to all the time on our Discord that they can finally get a chance to hook up in person once a year, and that's where they do it. And that's great. It really, first off, it takes the pressure off of me, knowing that it's not about me. That would be terrible. I don't think I'd be able to handle it at all. And it's just a nice thing, it's the right way for it to be, I think. It's just a bunch of good people. So I hope I see you there. And if I don't, I know that just like every year, that will be something you can sort of participate in virtually on our Discord. There'll be a live stream and all the regular stuff, as far as I know. So, good times. I thought this rug would get a lot more wrinkled up from all this. I should probably look on Discord and make sure we didn't lose the sound halfway through that. I could have been talking to myself this whole time. All right, looks like we're good. Yep, they are running away. Wow, even with the toy, they're not going to come back for the toy? You're scary with that giant box.
Just a bob. You like boxes?
Kittens?
No, they don't like boxes.
Why? Isn't the high today 60 degrees?
Yeah, probably.
And it's kind of wet out?
I don't know. Not yet.
I gotta find where Parka's collar went, or get her a new one, I guess. I don't think I have another one that's like the one she's been wearing, so I'd have to find her probably yet another design. How many collars has she been through since she's been here? They had those little tiny kitten collars that we have. They don't last very long if kittens are, if they play pretty hard and they keep getting their claws stuck in them. I've had to go through at least 3 of those for each of these kittens, and now they're on their 4th. I want to say this is their 4th collar. Parka could be getting her 5th before long, if I can't figure out what she did with it. Well, you're panting. I guess we're about done, huh? That's good. That's good exercise for you, isn't it? All right, well, that was Mailbag. Thanks, everybody. Hey, that was longer than I thought, 20 minutes. Geez, I can really ramble, huh? That's crazy. Well, thanks, and I guess I will see you next time. Maybe, if we're lucky by this time next week, I'll have some idea when we're actually going to move. We'll see.